I'd been a truck driver for various companies for 10 years. 3 years ago, I was doing shipments for a warehouse company in Kansas. It was February 2nd, a cold Monday morning, and the week was just starting. Lots of loads needed to be shipped. I started driving at 3 p.m. I planned to arrive that same night. I didn't want to pull off somewhere on the side of the road to sleep. After midnight, fatigue started taking over my body. My eyes were getting dry, and keeping them open was becoming torture. I splashed some water on my hand and rubbed it on my face. It helped a little, but not enough. My truck was the only vehicle on this road at that hour. Outside what my headlights illuminated, everything was pitch black. I reached over to take a sip from my water bottle. When I looked up, I almost choked. In the distance, in the middle of the road, there was a figure. At first, I thought I was seeing things, but as I got closer, it was real. I hit the brakes. The truck's tires screamed. The steering wheel shook in my hands. As I slowed down to almost a stop, I could see him clearly. He was dressed entirely in black. A black scarf was wrapped around his neck. But what disturbed me most was his neck. It was unnaturally long. So long that even though his head was tilted forward, his eyes could still look straight ahead at the same level, like his neck had an extra spine or something. His head swayed slowly back and forth like a snake's. I tried to focus on his face, but it was blurry. Like it was constantly moving, I couldn't make out any features. As the truck slowed down, I started thinking about what I'd say to him. Maybe he needed help. Maybe... At that moment, he tilted his head slightly to the side. A robotic movement. Then suddenly he turned to his left and started running into the woods. But the way he ran, it wasn't normal. His legs were moving too fast, but his body stayed level, like he was gliding above the ground. Within seconds, he'd vanished into the darkness. I froze. My hands were trembling on the steering wheel. I could barely swallow. Then I hit the gas. I just wanted to get away from there. For the first 20 seconds, I didn't feel anything. Then my heart started racing like crazy. My chest felt tight. What did I just see? I kept thinking. 5 minutes later, my breathing started returning to normal. Just a guy, I told myself. Just some weird guy in strange clothes. But right then, it happened again. As I was back at cruising speed, something crossed the road in front of me. At first I thought it was a big deer, but as I got closer I saw it was running on 2 legs, human-shaped, and it entered the woods with the same strange gliding movements. This time I didn't even touch the brakes. In fact, I pressed the gas harder. My heartbeat was echoing in my ears. I'm hallucinating, I thought. I'm too tired. This can't be real. But there was a feeling inside me, a deep, primal fear, a warning from the old part of my brain. Run. Run now. I had 40 more minutes to go, but I knew I couldn't make it anymore. My eyes were closing. I was drifting into the other lane. I saw a small gravel area on the side of the road. Must have been some kind of rest stop. I pulled the truck in, parked, and reclined the seat. The moment I closed my eyes, I fell asleep. I don't know how long I slept. Maybe an hour, maybe less. But suddenly, I woke up. Darkness. Silence. Just the sound of my own breathing. But something was wrong. A feeling inside me, like someone was watching me. I looked forward. The windshield was completely dark. I couldn't see anything. Instinctively, I turned on the headlights. When the lights came on, my heart stopped. He was there, right in front of the truck, maybe 3 meters away, standing on the side of the road. The man with the black scarf. But this time, I could see his face clearly. He was smiling. A very wide smile. So wide I could see his cheeks stretching like they might tear. And his eyes were as wide open as possible, like he had no eyelids, just staring. And his head, with that long, unnatural neck, was tilted slightly to the side, like a curious dog. He was looking directly at me. My hand went to the key. The engine started. I shifted into reverse. I started backing out. He didn't move, just stared, with that smile. When I pulled back onto the road, I floored it. I didn't dare look in the rearview mirror. 10 miles, I thought. I last saw him 10 miles back. How could he be here? When I reached my destination, I waited until morning in the parking lot with the doors locked. I didn't even blink. The only logical explanation I could think of was that I'd been hallucinating from exhaustion that night. But I'd never heard of a hallucination that realistic. And still, sometimes when I look in my rearview mirror, I feel like I'm seeing that smile. Before getting an office job in the city, I was a UPS driver for 2 years. In 2010, I was living in a small town in North Carolina. It wasn't a safe place. It was a Thursday evening, just past 6 p.m. It was the dead of winter, and it had already gotten dark outside. My shift was winding down, just a few deliveries left. The street where I had to make a delivery was typical for the town. Scattered trailer homes on one side, woods on the other. The houses were far apart from each other, and there weren't even streetlights between them. When I arrived at the delivery address, I pulled up in front of the house. It was a small old trailer home. The lights were off, no car out front. I went to the back of the truck and pulled out one of the heaviest boxes of the day. Metal pieces rattled inside. It was very heavy. As I approached the trailer home, I noticed something. The curtains were slightly parted, and from inside, someone was watching me. I knocked on the door. Once, twice, 3 times. Footsteps. Slow, hesitant footsteps. Then, silence. A long silence. I could feel someone standing behind the door. I could hear their breathing. Finally, the door creaked open, just a few inches. An older woman poked her head out. Her face was tense and pale. Her eyes were uneasy. She kept looking behind her, into the house. "You have a package, needs to be signed for," I said. She opened the door fully. I noticed her hands were shaking. As she signed the device, her hand slipped. The signature was unrecognizable. "You need to help me carry it inside," she said. Her voice was trembling. "To the closet in the back of my room." It seemed like a normal request, but something about her tone was wrong. When I stepped inside, the smell hit me. A heavy, sharp smell, like rotting food, but worse, more organic. It turned my stomach. The living room was small and dark. The only light came from an old lamp in the corner. A flickering, yellowish light emanated from the lamp. The woman was walking ahead. Her steps were quick, too quick, like she was running from something. We entered a narrow hallway. The walls were suffocating. I could barely fit while holding the box. We reached a door. The woman stopped. She put her hand on the doorknob, but didn't open it. Seconds passed. She just stood there. "Go in and put it in the closet," she said. There was an urgency in her voice. But was it fear or excitement? I couldn't tell. "Can you turn on the light?" I said. "The light doesn't work," she said immediately. Too quick to answer, like she'd rehearsed this response. She opened the door. Inside was almost pitch black. Only the light from the lamp in the back was seeping down the hallway, a weak, flickering light. I walked in, holding the box. The floor creaked. With every step, the boards made sounds. It took a few seconds for my eyes to adjust to the darkness. Slowly, I started to see the shapes in the room. There was a closet in the back. It was standing open. I walked toward the closet. My heartbeat had started to speed up. I didn't know why. Just a feeling. When I reached the front of the closet, I bent down to set the box down. Then, I saw it. In the corner of the closet, in the darkness, someone was standing. Human-shaped. I could see clearly. I could see their head. I could see their shoulders. They were standing completely still, but they were breathing. Heavy, slow breaths. I could see their chest rising and falling. And then, I realized, they weren't breathing. Their chest was moving, but there was no sound of breathing. No sound at all. Just waiting. I dropped the box. Right where it was, in front of the closet, I walked backward. Without taking my eyes off them, the room was spinning. My heart felt like it would burst out of my chest. As I passed the woman, I said, "Have a nice day." My voice had cracked. I walked into the hallway. With quick steps toward the front door, she started screaming behind me, "Come back, help me!" There was no fear in her voice. There was anger and disappointment. "You piece of shit! Come back!" I walked out the door. I ran to the truck. I started the engine. When I looked in the rearview mirror, the woman was standing in the doorway, just staring, without moving. That night, I finished my shift. I went home. I couldn't sleep. The next day, I started looking for a new job. I still wonder, who was that person in the closet? What did they want? And the woman, was she really scared, or was she part of the plan? I don't know. And I don't want to know. I've been working as a truck driver for 15 years. I usually prefer night drives, no traffic, empty roads. Just me, my music, my thoughts. One night, I was delivering furniture from one end of California to the other, mostly through desert roads. The kind that are straight, deserted. The kind where you don't see a single car for miles. As the night progressed, fatigue was increasing. But on these roads, I could go fast, so I could make up time. In the distance, on the horizon, I noticed something. Red flashing lights. Hazards. I slowed down, and as I approached, I saw an old Chevy Impala parked on the side of the road. It was black, from the early 2000s. It was sitting on the desert dirt, off to the side. I parked the truck behind it. I left my engine running just in case. I got out of the truck. I expected the night air to be cool, but it was hot. The air was still, not even a breeze. The car looked even stranger up close. It was covered in dust, but the ground under the car was clean, like it had just gotten here. But the hazards were flashing, so it must have been waiting for a while. I knocked on the side window. Once, twice. No answer. I bent down and looked through the window. It was tinted, but I could see inside. Empty. No one in the front seats. No one in the back seats either. But there was something in the front seat. Something small. It was glinting. I tried to look closer, but the darkness was too thick. I looked around. Both sides of the road were dark. Just desert, rocks, and far away, very far away, the silhouette of a structure. I went back to my truck and grabbed my flashlight from the toolbox under the passenger seat. It was a heavy-duty tactical flashlight, so powerful that if you looked directly at it, your eyes would hurt. When I turned it on, it illuminated part of the desert. And that's when I saw it. On the side of the road, maybe 50 meters away, there was an abandoned gas station. How had I not noticed it? Didn't I look before? I approached, step by step. Holding the flashlight in front of me, the station was old, very old. There were 2 old gas pumps. Behind them was a small building, probably used to be a convenience store. But the windows were broken. The door was half open. "Hello," I called out. "Do you need help?" My voice echoed in the desert. Then, silence. I approached the building. The door looked like it had been ripped from its hinges. I didn't even need to push to get in. I held the flashlight inside. The light illuminated the old shelves, broken glass, debris scattered on the floor. A typical abandoned gas station store. "Hello?" I called out again. "I saw a car outside. I'm here to help." There was a slight echo to my voice. It gave me chills. Then I heard something. A faint sound, a movement, footsteps, something falling. It was coming from the back of the building, from behind the shelves. "Is someone there?" I said. My voice was more tense now. Then a whisper, deep, hoarse, a heavy whisper. "Get out of here." I froze. What did they say? Did I hear wrong? "Get out of here, please." This time it was clearer. It was a woman's voice, but her voice was strained, like her throat was being squeezed, like she was struggling to speak. I pointed the flashlight behind the shelves. I couldn't see anything, just darkness and shadows. But then I heard another sound. Breathing. Heavy, rapid breathing. And this sound was coming from somewhere else, from another corner of the room. There was someone else inside. My heart started pounding like crazy. I walked backward, toward the door. "I'm calling the police," I said. "They're coming right now." As I walked backward, the flashlight beam illuminated different parts of the room, and for a moment, I saw something. Behind the shelves. Just for a second. A silhouette. Human-shaped, but crouched. Close to the ground. I turned and started running. When I got out of the building, I pulled out my phone and called 911. My hands were shaking. 911, what's your emergency? I'm at a gas station, I said. My breath was short. An abandoned gas station. There's someone inside. A woman. She might be hurt, I don't know. Okay, stay calm. Can you tell me your location? I'm in the desert, California. I don't know exactly where, just... Right at that moment, I heard a sound. An engine. I turned around. The Chevy Impala started. Its headlights came on and it started speeding away. "Wait!" I yelled. "Hey!" But it was gone. It sped down the desert road and disappeared into the darkness. How did that happen? No one got in the car. I didn't see anyone. It would only take me 20 seconds to walk from the car to the building. It was that close. I should have seen someone. "Sir, are you there?" The 911 operator's voice came through. The car left," I said. Someone started the car and drove off." "Did you get the license plate number?" "No, it was too dark. Black Chevy Impala, early 2000s. The operator was trying to find my location. Asked me the name of the road, if there were any signs nearby, but I wasn't listening, because there was only one thought in my mind. If the car was gone, was the woman still inside? I need to go back in," I said. "The woman might still be there." "Sir, please wait. Officers are on their way." But I was already walking. I went back into the building. This time, I held the flashlight tighter, holding my breath. "Hello?" I said. "The police are coming. I can help." Silence. I walked toward the back of the shelves, with slow steps, and then I saw it. On the floor, behind the shelves. Blood. Fresh blood. A wide stain. It was still wet. It glistened under the light. But there was no body. No one was there. Just blood. A lot of blood. I staggered backward. My stomach was turning. "There's blood," I said into the phone. "A lot of blood. But no one's here. No body." The operator was saying something, but I couldn't hear. There was a ringing in my head. I left the building, went back to my truck, locked myself inside and waited for the police. Half an hour later, state troopers arrived. 3 vehicles. They searched the building, took photos, collected samples of the blood. I answered all the questions they asked me, but I didn't know much. Black Chevy Impala. Hazards on. A woman's voice inside whispered, "Get out of here." Blood, but no body. The officers thanked me and said I could go, but one of them, an older cop, came up to me. "You got a dash cam in your truck?" he asked. "No," I said, "but I'm getting one next week." He nodded. "Good idea. And if you drive this road again, don't stop. Just keep going." That night I made the delivery, but I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard that whisper, "Get out of here." And I still wonder, who was that woman? Did the person in that car kidnap her? Or did something else happen? I don't know, and I think I'll never know.